What's up, weirdos? I'm here to unbox a extremely cheap pair of Amazon waders. While I was out fishing the last time, I had my $100 chest waders fail on me. The felt sole on the right boot failed approximately 3/4 of a mile in to the hike. The left boot failed about 20 yards later. So then I was hoping I wasn't going to puncture them on rocks. I ended up not puncturing them on rocks, but I slipped around a lot. I like to go, waist deep on a regular basis in the creeks, and not having any traction was a pain. So I decided to try out some super cheap Amazon waders. These were only 30 bucks. So let's see what they look like. You probably shouldn't open waders with a knife. Plastic smell is very strong. These are PVC, I think double layer, I don't know. It's all 30 bucks. Oh, these are boot foot waders. I should have probably mentioned that in the first part. They're surprisingly heavy. The sole, well, it looks okay. Very flexible. I don't think that should be good. It's got enough meat on the traction. Thing you want to look at is seams around the boot. They're not great looking. They look okay, I guess. The real question is dependability. Are these a set of waders that you're going to be able to get 2, 3 fishing trips out of? Or are you going to be able to get like 2, 3 years out of them? I don't know. I'm going to find out. Clasps feel very cheap. Oxyvan. You can make a lot of jokes about that. Oh, these had a pocket on them. Not seeing a pocket. Okay. There's a terrible pouch inside. My last waders had an excellent pouch right in the front. I'm gonna try these on. So I will say for the fit, I am 5'9", about 200 and some change. If you're any taller, any heavier, these are gonna be a problem. Sitting down, they get very snug in the knees, and I imagine if you sat down too fast, you could probably split them, especially after some time where the joints get a little weaker, the seams, I should say. So, there's a couple reasons I got these. One is I've never used rubber-soled boots before. I fish southeastern in south central Pennsylvania, tributaries of the Susquehanna River, some cold water creeks in the river hills, and some very muddy streams that meander through cattle fields. Lots of quality trout fishing, smallmouth, walleye in the spring. There's lots of good fishing to be had, and I like to get waist deep. So I wanted to try the rubber-soled boots because I heard about all the environmental issues with felt sole and transporting microorganisms from creek to creek. I don't want to be a part of that. So I'm hoping that these give generally good traction. I am excited for the hike to the creek. I feel like I won't be slipping down embankments anymore, which is always an issue with muddy banks, leaves, and felt sole boots. So the rubber boots should give me a solid amount of traction, and the only thing I'm worried about is some of these cold water streams with the rocks. And they get pretty slippery, especially in the summertime when there's some algae blooming off of them. And I feel like that's where I'm gonna wish I had a felt sole, but I don't even know if these waders are gonna make it till then. So main thing is they fit me okay, and hopefully they hold water. So I'm going to find that out, and then I'm going to make another part to this video when they finally fail, and then give you the amount of time and how long you should expect these to last. I probably shouldn't have decided to do this in the wintertime, because that's the worst time to have the waders fail, especially when, I expect to be fishing, as cold as it gets. It's fun for me. I'm going to have to layer up in these things. I don't know how well they're going to do. My last waders were PVC coated, but they were very thick, and I could wear a pair of sweatpants and some thermal socks and be good through January. So yeah, I know should have neoprene for stuff like that, but I don't, and I just don't get that cold. So I recommend that you get neoprene waders if you want to do extreme cold weather fishing, but that's up to you. Use common sense. If it's too cold, you should leave. So now we're going to see how these things stack up on the water today. Hopefully catch some fish, at least enjoy the fall fishing weather. It's been a long time since I've seen the water this high. I'm passing Muddy Run right now. It's in the trees. I don't know if that's a good sign or a bad sign. We did get a lot of rain the other day. First impression of the waders. The grip on banks and sand and mud, anything on the bank, is solid bit better than felt sole, which I expected that. The boots themselves, the soles are very thin, so I'm worried I'm going to puncture them on a rock one of these days. I mean, as you can see, it's rocky in there. I just ran into a couple other guys. They said they hadn't had any luck. Tipped me off at another spot, so I'm heading downstream. So far, been knee-high in the water. No wet feet. That's a positive. When I was reading the Amazon reviews, I saw that a lot of the negative reviews were waders that leaked right out of the box. So far, so good on that front. They do have a nice return policy on Amazon, so hopefully I don't have to use that once I get waist deep, hopefully up here. My final thoughts on the waders. They're very cheap. They're cheap. I don't think they're gonna last long. If I can get an entire year out of them, I'm going to be very surprised. The grip on the soles are far from confidence inspiring. It's what you'd expect for super cheap. They grip better underwater on the rocks than I expected, but at the same time, I am far from sure-footed in these things. totally recommend, if you're gonna go cheap, get a pair of cheap stocking foot waders and get a nice pair of wading boots. That'll be what I do next. But right now, I've got super cheap waders to work with, and hopefully they last longer than I expect. And then on to the next set. So, thanks for watching. Have a good one.